I don't know what's happened here. This place is called Butterfly. It's on the Rat Yindi Road, just next door to the Rat Yindi Hospital. It's Muslim owned and run. All of the staff are Muslim, and it's a really nice place. So I used to come here quite often for lunch or for coffee and a cake. And I came here last week. It was all closed up, all the blinds were drawn. I thought, that's strange, it must be a Muslim holiday. And coming back today, it's still closed. So I don't really know what's happened. But if it's closed for good, it's a real shame, because it's a nice place and it's really convenient for me. The place next door is also Muslim, it's also closed. And the reason might be because of an extended Muslim holiday. There was an important Muslim holiday last week, and it might just be that the restaurant's closed for quite a long time because of that holiday. There was a huge storm a few weeks ago. It caused one electricity pole to fall over, and because of the way all the cables are strung up, that started a domino effect, and about 10 fell over, and that caused a major power outage. Well, it was just here, and you can still see some of the old electricity poles that fell over. It's all been repaired now, but yeah, it was quite a big weather event. And this piece of land, I really don't know what's happening. This has been empty ever since I got to Hat Yai over 20 years ago, and land in Hat Yai is extremely expensive. So this piece of land here is quite big. It must be worth an absolute fortune, and nothing's happening. So I don't know who owns it or what's going to happen in the future. This place is called Nora Plaza. It's quite a big shop. It gets hardly any local customers. It's frequented almost 100% by tourists, and normally when I walk past, the car park is full of Malaysian tour buses, and there are Malaysian tour buses on the street outside, and it causes quite big traffic jams. And I think it's one of these places where tour bus drivers get paid to take people there. I went in last week just to have a look around, and it's just the sort of things that you buy as a tourist that you don't buy at any other time. I wasn't impressed. There was nothing inside that I was interested in, but the Malaysian tourists seem to like it. Hat Yai changes constantly. This was one of the difficulties with running a website about Hat Yai, is that you just need to update it constantly, and in the end I just couldn't keep up. So in this location used to be Siam air conditioning place, and it was really good. If I want the air conditioning fixed on my car at the main dealer, it's expensive. This place was very, very reasonable and very, very good, and I got quite friendly with the owner's son. And now they've gone somewhere else, and they're building what looks like a hotel. The New Silom Hotel. Yeah, just nothing ever stays static for very long in Hat Yai. There used to be a Vietnamese restaurant here that was there for many, many years. And a little while ago it went. It's now a music and hangout venue called D-Lab. As I say, Hat Yai just changes constantly. I'm on Tamanun Witi Road in Hat Yai. It's a long road. If you walk this way, you'll come to the Western style nightlife venues, and if you go right to the end, you'll get to the train station. And I'm going the other way, so right at the other end of the road is the university, and before you get to there, you'll get to all of the nightlife venues for the local Thais. And the reason for doing this video today is that I need to make a few updates regarding breakfast restaurants in Hat Yai. I've done a few videos about breakfast restaurants. Well, since then, one of them has closed and a few others have opened. So this will be an update video. This is another place on Tamanun Witi Road that's similar to Nora Plaza. As you will see outside, it's just minivans and Malaysian tour buses, and it's just for tourists. The locals don't go to these places, it's purely for tourists. I don't tend to come to this part of Hat Yai very often, but I need to change that because there are so many new places that have opened up in recent years in this area. This place looks very nice. It's a Japanese restaurant, and at some time I should certainly come here to give it a try. This is quite sad actually. In Hat Yai there aren't that many good Western restaurant options. That's because there aren't that many Western tourists. Most tourists tend to be ethnic Chinese from Malaysia and Singapore. There used to be a very good German restaurant here. It's run by a German guy called Jan, who had a Thai wife called Gab, and it was called Gab's Garden. And he used to have a small restaurant behind the JB Hotel, and he moved here to much larger premises. I know he had problems with staff, and I don't think he had enough customers to make it viable to run a business, and he ended up going back to Germany. So we lost him and lost his restaurant. So yeah, quite sad seeing this. This is the area where there are nightlife venues for the locals. A gym over there as well. This is where there used to be a huge bathhouse brothel called Chow Paya 4, and when that was open there were probably 7 or 8 similar venues in Hat Yai, and then some years ago they all disappeared. So I'm not sure what or who was behind that, but that side of Hat Yai is now history, and it all looks fairly new around here. There's been a lot of demolition and new buildings going up. If you're into night clubbing, I believe this is quite a big, well-known Hat Yai nightclub. I know nothing about this kind of thing. I'm about 40 years too old for nightclubs, and even when I was young I didn't really enjoy this sort of thing. Over the road is Sugar Rock. It's a very old restaurant in Hat Yai, and unlike other old restaurants that have now closed, I'm glad to say that it's still operating. As a sign outside says, it's been going since 1988. I've been there quite a few times, not recently, and the food's not bad and not too expensive. And just opposite Sugar Rock is a branch of Mr. Steak, and there are now quite a few branches of Mr. Steak in Hat Yai. It's nothing special, it's okay. It's like a Thai style cheap steakhouse. The food's okay. It tends to vary quite a lot between branches. I've found that the food and the service is much better in some branches than others. Now back onto the subject of breakfast restaurants, and most notably Ong Tong no longer exists. Ong Tong was the first breakfast restaurant I did a video about, and it's no longer there. They used to have small premises near the Bangkok hospital, and they were always busy. Then they moved to larger premises near the university, but whenever we went there they weren't very busy, and we haven't been for a while and decided to go a couple of Sundays ago. And when we got there it was a completely new restaurant, not a breakfast restaurant, so we had to make alternative plans. So I've still got the video up about Ong Tong, but sadly it's no longer there, so it's no longer an option. The good news is that there are some new breakfast restaurants that have recently opened. So just over the back of this woodland here is Tesco Lotus, and along this road, which is Grajang Utit Road, I'll give a link to Google Maps, there are now about 5 breakfast restaurants. So if you're looking to go out for breakfast somewhere in Hat Yai, this is a good place to go. Apart from the places down here, the Chef and Gin Chow are still open and are still good places to go for breakfast. But if you want to go somewhere where you've got several choices for breakfast, then this is a good place. The first place is Papa's Pan Cafe. Breakfast and coffee, open from 7:30 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I try to be honest in these videos, and I did come here shortly after it opened and I was a bit disappointed, but that was mainly because of my expectations. My wife saw it advertised on Facebook and told me that a new breakfast restaurant had opened, and I think the owner is a Westerner, so I had very high expectations. If it's owned by a Westerner, it would be a really good Western breakfast. And when we went, it was just a standard Thai version of a Western breakfast. It was okay, but it didn't quite meet my expectations, so we haven't been back since. There's another restaurant just a little bit further down on the left called Jip Cha Nai Suan, and they do all kinds of food. They do Chinese food, Thai food, and they do like a sort of basic Western style breakfast. Ahan chow, basip bat. I've been here once with my family, and again the food was okay, nothing special but okay. This is the outside of Jip Cha Nai Suan. Nai Suan is in the garden, and in the back there is a kind of garden. So we'll just carry on walking and find the other places that do breakfast. I was walking down this road last week and came across this place, and I was really excited because I'm always looking for new breakfast venues in Hat Yai, and to find somewhere called the Breakfast Club in English looked really great. So I popped in, but I was a bit disappointed when I saw the menu because there's very limited options. This is basically it. You know, it's like eggs and bacon, and a few sandwich options. So it wasn't bad, but again, it didn't meet my expectations. Chow, breakfast and brunch. I've covered this on a previous video. We still go here. We still enjoy it. It's not that cheap. It's a little bit expensive, but there's some good food, and they do bagels, which I don't see in other restaurants in Hat Yai. Yeah, the food's good. And one problem is it's never very busy, and that sort of concerns me a bit, because with places that don't get much custom, they often end up closing. So I'm not sure what the fate will be for this place, but it's still worth visiting. And this is where we went last weekend. I've walked past this place several times, and I just saw the bakery at the front, and I didn't realise that there was actually a restaurant behind. My wife pointed this out to me. So we came here for the first time last weekend, and it was very good. It's a bit upmarket for Hat Yai. They've got an outdoor seating area and an indoor air-conditioned seating area. And out the back there's a nice little water feature with koi carp and a little waterfall. And they bake their own cakes and bread. There are the ovens, and there's a bakery. And like chow, it's a bit on the pricey side for Hat Yai, but the quality and service is very good. This is the Tatsapan menu. It's quite comprehensive. Here we have the Western breakfasts, and the menu is a hybrid of English and Thai. So the dishes are in English, but what's included in each dish is in Thai. So you might have a bit of a problem if you can't read Thai, but you can see from the photos what's included. And they've also got Thai dishes. There's congee, which is sometimes called jolk, sometimes called boiled rice, and various other Thai dishes. And there's also some healthy options, some fruit dishes. And there's another side to the menu as well with more Thai dishes. It's really a very good menu. There's also a very good drinks menu with hot and cold coffee, tea, drinks for kids, banana milkshakes, smoothies, avocado drinks and fruit juices. Yeah, it's a very comprehensive menu in here. This is my wife's boiled rice, which looks really good. It's been very well presented. I don't like Thai food in the morning. I don't mind it lunchtime and evening, but I need Western food in the morning, so I've just gone for a Western breakfast. What we've got here, got fried egg, bacon and sausage and a bit of salad. And I think there's some toast coming as well. And this is my hot latte. Here's my toast, which came with a little portion of jam. And this restaurant is also a bakery, so I think they make all the bread and the cakes themselves. And the kids just opted for a bowl of fruit, which does look very nice. The atmosphere is very pleasant in Tatsapan. Outside there's an open area where you can sit down. You can see the bakery over there. But then they've got this enclosed air-conditioned area. And there's a really nice water feature outside. Waterfall and koi carp. It's Yeah, it's a really nice place. First time I've been here today, and I'm quite impressed. I just had a quick chat with the owner, this lady in the green here, and it's been open for 8 years, which quite surprised me. I've walked past several times. I didn't realise there was a little restaurant at the back. So here we have the ovens where they bake their own bread and cakes, and at the front is a little bakery. Just a quick look in there. That's where my wife and kids are at the moment. So yeah, selection of bread, cookies, honey, cakes. Yeah, it's a nice little place. Certainly worth visiting if you're in Hat Yai. So in this one small section of Hat Yai, you've got 5 options for breakfast. And we don't tend to go to any one place in particular. We sort of like to move around. My wife gets bored going to the same place, so she likes to go to different places. And she probably feels the same way about her husband. There's some really nice property in this area as well. There's lots of old money in Hat Yai and a few very wealthy families. And just along here, there's a little bakery called Dough Baker, and they do artisan croissants and other cakes. A little bit pricey, but very, very nice. So let's just go and have a quick look in that bakery. I'm inside Dough Bakery, and the croissants and other cakes look really, really good. Not that cheap, but there's a lot of work and good ingredients have gone into these, which accounts for the price. They look really delicious. That was my Hat Yai breakfast restaurant update. If you've been to any of these places, please let me know what you thought in a comment below. And if you're aware of any other places that I haven't mentioned, please let me know. I only found out about chow through a comment in one of my videos, and I'm always grateful for people letting me know about places that I haven't found yet. Thanks for watching.